Hi, I'm Neil Sackmary.
Hi, I'm State Trooper Sean Hagstrom with the Nevada State Police Highway Patrol Division, PEIO. Please stay tuned for the next episode of Trooper Talk.
And together, we can make a difference. Here we are live at the 360 Vegas studios with this edition of Trooper Talk. We have some special guests today. Trooper Hagstrom.
Glad to be here, Neil.
Please introduce yourself. Tell us what it is that you do.
I'm State Trooper Sean Hagstrom for the Nevada Highway Patrol. I'm the Public Information Officer.
And you, sir?
Trooper Villanueva with Nevada State Police. I'm the sworn recruiter for Southern Command or Region 1.
I always mess up his last name, and they call him Louis, and it messes with me.
Louis is fine.
And I don't like people by their first names in case they ever see them on the road or anything like that. I don't ever want to be in a disrespectful way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So for you, please introduce yourself. Look right in that camera right there, and tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I am Trooper Lucero. I'm currently going through FTO and new to the Highway Patrol family.
And how long have you been doing this for? Tell us from the start to right now where you sit, approximately how long has that taken?
Since September, the beginning, like end of August, beginning of September till now.
Okay.
So I'm still undergoing the training process, but hopefully by October I'll be hitting the streets by myself and serving the community.
Look at the smile on his face, right? Because this is one of the things that we discuss on the Trooper Talk, is we go inside the life of the Nevada State Police in every aspect of and all the divisions, thanks to Trooper Hagstrom. You know what I mean? He brings on everybody different. And one of the things that we always talk about is the fact of recruiting. And it's very, very difficult because we only want the best. And so it's not an easy process. And so he talks about it all the time. And so that's why it's so important for you to be here. So we thank you very much for coming. Okay?
I'm glad to be here.
Yep. All right, now I'm going to throw them some curveballs. You ready?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. So what is this called?
Cell phone.
Cell phone. Okay. So here's the question I have for you. We talk all the time. Are on the roadways, are cars allowed on there?
Correct.
Okay. Trucks,
Absolutely.
motorcycles,
All day long.
mopeds,
Yeah, to a degree.
to a degree. What about shoes with people in them?
Nope.
Negative. On the highways, no.
Not allowed.
Correct.
So here's the curveball of the question, okay? So I get on the freeway the other morning, I take my car for a drive, and I'm like, you know what? This is going to be great. Beautiful morning, you know what I mean? Cruise down the road, you know what I mean? And just enjoy myself. And as soon as I get on the freeway, what do I see in front of me that is walking in front of the area to get on the road because he was walking on the freeway this way? Right.
Was he on a cell phone too?
He was
Just
not
weren't
on
paying
the cell
attention?
phone.
Okay.
But here's sort of the curveball. Okay? So now you're at 65 miles an hour. You're focused on the fact of like, look, it's not easy to get on the freeway. Okay? You have to maneuver, you have to speed up, you have to slow down, you're looking at this guy, you're worried about the motorcycle that's splitting lanes doing 130. I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening. Right? On top of which I'm in the car and I'm like, look, I just want to blast. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like, don't bother me right now, right? This is my 15 minutes that I get in my day that I haven't had.
Right.
Okay. So, this is called the cell phone. Okay? So, my reason for bringing that up is, how are you, so I get on the freeway and I see this, right? Like it's right in front of me now. And so I didn't call Star NHP. I did not call 911. I did not do anything. And so my reason for bringing that up is I want everyone to put Star NHP as a favorite in their phone. Because if I had Star NHP and I was able to just go NHP or NH or, you know what I mean?
Right.
911, if you know what I mean? Like whatever code I had, I would have been on the phone with Nevada Highway Patrol, not 911. I would have said, this is where I'm at, and they would have said, are you sure? Because this happened to me before, where I told them where I was at, and because I was right behind a wrong way driver, right one car back, and they were like, no, sir, you're not on that road. Because they knew exactly where it was, because I described to them where I was. And so the curveball is, what are you supposed to do? And so that's why we talk, and that's why people need to save star NHP in their phone, because of an emergency.
Right. So so something else that I will say too is that if you do end up dialing 911, those dispatchers will connect you to star NHP, and then that way you kind of have a better understanding of who you're talking to. On top of that, with your cell phone, you are able to manipulate it if it's in a cell phone holder on your dashboard or clipped to the air vent. You're able to manipulate it. You just cannot hold it in your hand, and you can't be staring at your phone while you're manipulating it. So if you're driving and you have it set up in a phone holder, essentially, you can manipulate it. If you need to make that phone call, you can make that phone call, but you can't be sucked into your cell phone, essentially.
It's more like a hands-free. That's
Correct.
what we want,
Yeah.
because once you put it in your hand and
Yeah.
you start talking and like you say, manipulating and having it in your hand, now you've become a distracted driver.
Right.
Now it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
But you're right, Neil. We see a lot of things, and that kind of bypasses everything doing a star NHP. Also, like you said, if you call 911 or 311, depending where you're at, and doesn't matter what jurisdiction, those dispatchers will switch them to the next dispatcher. So if it's something in Henderson, and Henderson dispatch needs to get it, but they called and it went into Metro will switch it over to Henderson. It's just that fast. And then you'll be picked up with that dispatcher, and they'll take over with all the information that you gave them. Or if you already gave that prior information, that dispatcher from the original dispatch center that you called will give that information prior, but they'll still connect you with that.
And just so I'm clear, have people passed away by walking on the freeway?
All the time.
All the time.
Unfortunately, it's a common occurrence here. in Las
So one of the things that I want to get across for this episode, right? I told you I just throw them curveballs, right? Is the fact that, listen, there might be an extenuating circumstance. Like, listen, my car broke down. I don't know what to do. I don't have a cell phone. I can't call anybody. Like, I'm sort of dead in the water, and I can't just wait for maybe somebody to drive by. So, like, we talked about the fact that, walk to the right or try to get onto the dirt, or, you know what I mean? Like you have to watch what you're doing, because these people, I mean, if I was not paying attention, right, and you would have just made a little bit of a jerk because, a rabbit was in the road. I mean, who knows, right? A piece of furniture.
Well, there's several things that you can do, Neil. One of the things, if you decide that you have to walk, let's say that you're in a rural area and you have to walk, always get off that shoulder into the dirt area that we talked about before. But a lot of times what we'll tell people, if you have to get out of that car, because we don't want you staying in that car. Yeah. A lot of these cars get struck, being on the side of the road. So if you get out of the car, get on the other side of the car and try to flag some people over. They may not stop, but a lot of people will call us to assist you, and also put that hood up. Putting that hood up, that automatically makes you what we call motorist assist. And now people know that you're stranded and that you need assistance. So you can wait with your vehicle there. But if you do decide to stay in the vehicle, always be seatbelted in. I wouldn't recommend it for a long length of time, especially on the interstates. I would kind of get away from the vehicle. Sometimes they have Jersey walls, and then you can just stand on the other side of the Jersey wall, which is actually the safest place to be, because unfortunately we have impaired drivers. We have people that are distracted drivers, where you have a busy interstate, they're not looking at you or whatever, or they're looking at somebody next to them, and then all of a sudden they're striking your vehicle. So we don't want to have you as a statistic or die because you just broke down on the side of the road, you didn't have a cell or anything else. So those three things, if they can remember that, if you're nowhere, like in a rural area, and the next place that you can actually walk to and get there safely, then you can do that. But always put your hood up and make sure that you try to get out of that car and get into a safe area. You got anything else to add
Another
on that?
thing,
Yeah,
for
so-
especially with the summer months coming up and with it getting hot, plan ahead. Make sure that you have water in your car. I carry a Hydro Flask, and then I still carry an extra one with me because even if I'm in a state patrol car, it doesn't mean anything. If I have to go rural or if I have to respond to something, I need to have water with me, right? Make sure you have gas. Make sure you have plenty of gas to get you where you're going to, because if you're going to get stranded, you're going to get stranded, and now you have to walk.
And I want to add one more thing too. I don't know how many times I've gone to a motorist assist, and we don't mind changing the tire, but we get the tire out and it's flat.
Yeah.
Or let's say you just need always throw jumper cables. I always tell people put jumper cables, extra, like blankets. We talked about the water and stuff because we're in a desert. So sometimes during the day it gets extremely hot, but if it's an overnight and you're stuck somewhere, to put a little bit of extra clothing or blankets in there just to keep warm if you don't have that vehicle it's able to run at that time. It's always best to have like a first aid kit just in case something happens. I like putting a little extra stuff in the trunk. So those are some of the things that we like to have people know, especially when they're traveling out of state or maybe in state, for a lengthy travel. We want to make sure that you have those essential items because you never know. You might not break down, but there might be a fatal crash and you have to sit in the travel lane for 4 or 5 hours. And people get upset, you know what I mean? But there's nothing we can do. I mean, it's blocking both lanes. We don't have extra roads to get you off. So you might be sitting there. So always have that extra water, food, supplies, just in case something happens.
Just in case.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Oh, you want me to add to it?
No, I have some things for you now.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Unless you want to add, tell me about what you'd like to add.
No, they literally covered everything. They're the experts.
So
I'm still taking in what they're saying.
perfect. That's great. We just had episode 200.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's 4 years of filming for Trooper Talk.
Oh, wow.
And 2 of the people that have been on Trooper Talk for a long-standing period are Corporal Wellman and Corporal McClarty. We know them as Trooper Wellman and Trooper McClarty, right? So when they were here, I sort of made fun of them because in a way that maybe only I can, because I said I can't imagine Corporal McClarty, you know what I mean, like yelling at someone. You know what I mean? Like he puts on his hat and he's, you know what I mean? I just can't imagine that, right? He's and Trooper Wellman, Corporal Wellman, she's so sweet. You know what I'm saying? And so here's my question for you, without getting into specific details because you probably can't. When they were here, one of the things that I found very, very interesting that we talked about was that she said, I am the commander, or whatever she said, for the next academy, whatever.
The
senior
lead
corporal.
Right, okay, so
Senior
she's the one that's in charge, right? And so she said, I've already spoke to every single person that's coming to the academy, so they know exactly what to expect. Right? Did you, when you joined and you did that, did you receive a similar phone call before you did the academy?
I might be like in a, what's the word, anomaly? Because I literally found out the Wednesday before the academy started, and then I started that Monday. So
there wasn't a lot of preparedness.
There wasn't.
Okay.
There's a few
Well,
days.
that's even better.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I want to know then. That's even better. So here's what I want to know. Okay. So you thought of joining Nevada State Police. What did you do before?
I was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. And you decided that this might be something that you were interested in doing.
Yes.
And so you do the physical fitness.
Yes.
You do the polygraph, the background, all these things which may or may not be stressful, but at the end of the day, they still plague on your mind mentally. Like, I don't have any problems, but maybe somebody says I was a bad person when I was 15, right? And so, we have these type of things, right? Okay. Then you're going through the process that we talk about, right? So it's time. It's not like 1, 2, 3.
Correct.
So on that Wednesday, when you find out what happens, that you got accepted, what's the first thing, like, do you? Because it's very interesting. I ask everybody, like, what's the first thing you do?
So make sure that you're reading the emails thoroughly. There's going to be instructions on there. Follow the instructions to the T. You know, make sure that you are ordering
No, for you, I'm
For
saying.
me?
No,
Well,
no.
first-
What was the like when you found
if you
out
got
that
excited or
Wednesday?
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
first I
Yeah.
was yes, I was
Like,
definitely
what did
excited.
do you jump up in the air and you go like because I ask everybody, you're like
Yeah.
you're like, yes, I did it, like I made it, like what? Tell me, I want to know.
So I'm from California, so I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, right, okay. And you start freaking out.
Yeah, and then I yelled to my husband who's
Uh-huh.
downstairs, and I'm like, I got accepted. I'm like, give me a minute. I print out the paper that says like you've been accepted, like do you accept this acceptance letter? I sign it, I scan it, and then I send it, and then I go downstairs and I celebrate. And then it's that oh crap moment, like what do I need to prepare? Because you got to be on your toes, and you need to make sure that you are doing everything you need to do beforehand. So getting those things out of the way, especially because mine was so last minute, it was important. Like time was of the essence. So yeah, that was my thing. But yes, I was definitely excited. I mean, you could probably see in my demeanor now, I'm still excited.
Right. Of course.
Yeah, I just feel very lucky and very happy to be a part of the NHP family.
Yeah, it's cool.
We're
I
glad
ask
to have her.
everybody, you know what I mean? Well, because we want people to know what it feels like. Because at the end of the day, we all talk, and he talks, about how tough it is. And that it's not for everyone. And it's not just you put on a gun, you drive down the road, you give somebody a ticket, maybe you take this person to jail. No, and so it's very important that people know that you're part of the family, and you know what I mean, and you're building something towards retirement and all these things. So
Yeah.
we're happy that you're here, okay?
Thank
We're
you.
very happy to
All
have
right.
her.
Now,
Thank
this
you.
is called a remote that Johnny hooked up to the little thing here. Now, let me explain, okay?
Okay.
We used to just talk, and we found that it was not as interesting as showing pictures. So Johnny works with Trooper Hagstrom, and they get pictures. And again, we don't see anything. That way it's fun. Like I said to you, we don't talk before because the
Correct.
first reaction is always the best. It's the same type of idea, okay?
Okay.
So, we had Memorial Day, and a lot of people paid tribute to people that are here, people that are not here, and it's very important. You know, a lot of people come into the store, and they always, you know, say, we're so thankful for what you do for the police department, for the troopers, you know, and giving them a voice and letting them, you know, talk about their thing. We wish it could be longer, you know, but, you know, it sort of is what it is. But it's very important. And so this photo and everything has a lot of meaning behind it. And so being in the law enforcement field, the first responders are maybe not in the same way as the 5 branches, but they're all the same family. And you all put your life on the line to protect someone that you've never met before. And so I open the floor to you.
Absolutely. You know, this is one of the biggest things that we want to make sure that we honor our veterans and those who gave all for Memorial Day. And when I say that, Memorial Day isn't just about having burgers and brats and having a cookout and drinking and being out with friends. It's also the remembrance of those who gave us the freedom and the liberties that we have every single day. And some of us just take it for granted, but people actually paid the ultimate price of giving their life so we could live this way, enjoy our freedoms every day. So one of the big things, we wanted to put this up here too because a lot of our guys are former military, which is awesome. And, you know, I'd like to have a Marine Corps photo up there, Johnny, but, you know, no, we have a lot of people that are retired from the Air Force that currently work for us. And actually all branches, but I mean the majority of guys are coming because we have an Air Force base in Ellis here, and a lot of people end up switching over after they retire, coming to work for us, which is great. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to put this photo up too, is we're not only honoring those who gave all, but also our veterans that are out there every day that have already served, and also the ones that are serving right now. So we just want to give thanks and say, hey, we appreciate you. The Nevada State Police always thinks about our veterans and those serving across, whether you're here in this country or across the world, making this a free place for everyone.
You're retired, aren't you?
Yes. Marine Corps veteran.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yes.
Awesome. Bernie was too. I don't know.
So,
Semper Fi.
Semper
you
Fi.
said you were a stay-at-home mom, so you did not do the bridge program.
I did not.
Okay. So we're going to get into that after. So
I'm glad that you're bringing it up, because that's where I was going to go next.
right.
To talk to the veterans about,
yeah.
you know, I mean, not only the veterans, but the
Active
people in the
duties.
military. But I'm going to turn that over to
Active
him.
duty.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the bridge program.
So, well, since that happened, you know, what I want to know is, and a lot of people that we talk about the military, because one of the things that's really wonderful is the structure of the Nevada State Police. They have the same similar structure. And so a lot of people that are in the military enjoy that same camaraderie, they enjoy that same structure, because not only it's a familiar place, but it's a safe place. And so when you go out on the road and you have your own car, as we call it, your office, that's all you have, right?
Yes.
So you can't leave some bullets at home, because you can't drive home and get them if you need them. And so talk to us about the sort of similarities between a military life and the Nevada State Police when it comes to the working environment.
Well, I would just say, like, first and foremost, it's like the discipline and the professionalism that you have to just show the public. It's your natural, like, inclination to want to serve others. So if you have that already instilled in you and you've already done that in the past, it's just natural that you gravitate towards, like, a law enforcement type of career. So just knowing that, and then just changing your mindset of, like, who you're serving and then the way you're serving. So naturally in the military, you're on the defense. Now we want to serve the public, but we also want to ensure that they're abiding by the law and that we're creating a safe environment for everyone. So off the top of my head, that's the best I could do.
Now let me ask you, so you're in the patrol car now with a field training officer.
I am.
Okay. So the first day that you go into the car with the field training officer, do you freak out?
Oh, naturally, because I want to perform at the best of my abilities,
Sure.
and I'm probably my own worst critic. So I want to ensure that the same laws that I am upholding the public to, that I am following by them, but also looking out for violations and serving the public in motorist assist, in crash investigations and things like that. So it's high stress, and you want to perform well. So yeah, and until I'm naturally good at it, I'm still developing those skills. So
And so do you get a different car each day you go?
no, I have my personal vehicle, and it was assigned day one of FTO, so that was really nice. And I am making it my office and adjusting everything to how I feel most comfortable, and also learning from troopers, like seeing how they have their setup and what works best.
And so you have, like, is it cool? You adjust your mirrors and you have everything like situated, right?
My seat is forward. No one's moving it.
No one's moving it.
No one's moving it. I have my handcuffs right where I need them, and also just supplies to help the public, whether it's like putting out cones to avoid a hazard or voluntary statement forms, just the little things that we carry that allow us to do our job. I have them in areas that I know and easily accessible.
But that's one of the things that's important, right? Like, here's the thing. You don't sign on from your house yet.
Not yet.
Right, okay.
Soon.
Right, soon. But that's one of the things that's important that we talk about, right? Like, when you are over that time and you have your own vehicle, right? That they give you an allotment. I think we talked about, what was it, 30 miles or something like this that they give you to get to work.
75 miles.
75.
75,
Right. So,
yeah.
like, Sergeant Clifton, and you know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
he drives
Out
from
in
his
Pahrump.
thing,
Yeah,
right? You
yep.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but here's the thing: in a normal car, to get from where you are to the station, to the getting ready, and all this, besides the time, it's the wear and the tear. It's all these things that are just something that the state provides you.
Correct.
Right? That, we want people that want to do this.
Right.
So that's what's important, right?
Yeah. So and with the trainees still
And
being
then talk to me about the bridge program.
yeah, we'll jump into the bridge.
Right.
So with the trainees still being on FTO, they're not allowed to take their cars home just at the moment, just in case they're on their way home and they run into something that they've never seen before. They don't know how to handle. Not saying that they wouldn't do a good job, just not the correct processes of the way that we handle it, right? However, that car is hers. That's her car. Nobody touches it. Nobody moves her seat, like she says. It is set up to the way that she likes it. So when she's off duty, that car will sit at the station and nobody's going to mess with it. However, with other local agencies and local municipalities, you don't get that. You have to check out a car, or maybe it's a pool car and everybody's sharing that throughout the entire day. Maybe the person that had it before you is not as clean and organized as you are, so you have to clean out their stuff. Got to get all of your stuff in there and get it organized the way you want it. With us, your car is your car. You set it up the way you want it to. You can put your computer where you want. You can have your handcuffs where you want in your car, like she said. Your supplies are situated in the back the way you like them. Everybody has it a little differently. Everybody has containers or organization bins. It's just depending on how you want to do it, and that's something that the state offers you. But on top of that, all of the gear that you need for the academy, you get issued to you, and you don't have to purchase any of it. Compared to the other agencies in town, you have to purchase some of the stuff that you need to get to the academy. And again, if you don't make it to the academy, now you're out $2,000 to $3,000, and you can't return a lot of that stuff, or use half of it because you're not going to just walk around with a duty belt on. So the state provides you a lot of really good equipment. A lot of the gear that we have in our car is top notch, far more than what the other local agencies have here in town. But another program that we do offer is a Skill Bridge program for our active duty members of the 5 branches. If you're on your way out of your contract for the military, Skill Bridge will connect you with us for a paid internship. And then you can come in and work at the office and kind of get to know the back ends and the different processes that we do that normal troopers or officers don't really get to see. They handle a lot of the arrest reports that go to the courts. They handle a lot of the subpoenas that go to the courts. They handle the public coming in and out of the offices requesting crash reports. So it's a really good program. You get to kind of get an insight of the academy, the different trainings. You get to start studying your 10 codes or the police radio codes that we use. You can do as many ride-alongs as you want while you're in this program, so then that way you can go out with troopers and see what they do on a day-to-day basis, or officers when they go out to home contacts too, because the Skill Bridge program does do highway patrol and parole and probation. So it's a really good program. Again, it's a paid internship with the branches, and then once your contract is up, you essentially start getting paid by the state, and you are a state employee.
Yeah. And he's got a good, I don't know if you know, but his fiance and his mom both work for the state. Did you know that?
I knew his girlfriend, or
Right.
fiance.
Fiancé,
Sorry.
right,
Sorry,
right,
Whitney.
Right.
Should I take that out?
No, you're fine. No, you're good.
Okay.
Want to edit that out?
Well, I just don't want to publicize
He
her.
says
No.
no. You
Yeah,
know,
no.
it's-
No, it's good.
Oh, okay.
Here's what I'm going to say to you. We embarrassed him, Trooper Hagstrom, right? Set it up that he came in, and all of a sudden his mom was here,
Yeah.
and his mom works for parole and probation as a unsworn officer,
Okay.
right? And she worked for the state before, but she started at the lower level, and then she worked herself up to a higher level for the what was it?
She is a specialist.
Yeah, the higher specialist. Does that make, you know what I mean? I forgot the word, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say writer, right? But it's very important, and so people need to know that, right, Trooper Hagstrom? I
Oh,
mean, like,
absolutely,
you
absolutely.
know
That's a
that-
family thing, you know.
It's a family thing, and when you have a question, it doesn't matter who you are. there's always somebody there to answer your question, whether it's the major, like that, or the major that came in for parole and probation, for our 200th episode. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to do that. They could be like, listen, I'm at work. Like, you know what I mean? So I'll send somebody over there. But it's really important. And the leadership, it doesn't matter what it is, for the Nevada State Police is tremendous.
Absolutely, and we're like family, because a lot of agencies, you have to go through your sergeant and chain of command or something, but our supervisors are always available to us, as long as they're not in a meeting or something like that. If you have a quick question or something, they'll take the time to answer that question. If you need help, like if you're on the road and another trooper assists you, doesn't have the questions that you're looking for, you can contact that sergeant. That sergeant will come out and help you, and he'll show you the way or different ways to get those things done. So it's very important that, well, not really very important. It's a calling for our agency as more of a family atmosphere, because everybody works together to get the job done. And you won't see that in a lot of agencies. Even though we got like 400 troopers across the whole state, I always tell everybody, almost everybody knows everybody. It's a small knit family. If you need help, even off work, let's say somebody has cancer, or they're going through a bad patch, or they're having things going on that a lot of people probably don't know. But since we're a family, we'll take care of them. We'll go out there and help them if they need if they still have grass in their front yard mowed, or if they need something, food or picked up or something. That's what we do, because we're a team. We're a family. So that's one of the great benefits of being part of the Nevada State Police.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we see it with Trooper May and everybody else's family.
Oh, with our fallen officers, absolutely. We're always there for them.
You know what I mean?
We also want to touch on for Memorial Day,
Yes, tell me.
as well as Trooper Felix Abate. He was in the Air Force as well. Dear friend of mine. I was on the same squad as his when that night happened. So just touching on him for Memorial Day as well.
Where were you when that tragedy happened? Do you remember?
I was here in Vegas. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was
you
here
were
in Vegas.
you were not joining the Nevada State Police at that time?
No, I wasn't.
Right. Oh, no,
My
you
process
weren't
was
ready.
very expedited, like within the same year, and yeah, I got lucky in that sense. But I was taking care of my small children.
Can I ask, without getting too personal?
No, that's okay.
Like, what made you make the ultimate decision to send an email, or to, like, what pushed you over the edge?
I think it's just who I am. Very decisive. So same way I decided I was going to join the Marine Corps, I just did it. And then when I chose to get out and then chose to start a family, I just knew it was a calling. It wasn't that I sent out an application here and there. The only application I sent out was to DPS and specifically for NHP. So it's just who I am. I'm not sure if, I'm sure there's other people like that.
Yeah, no.
So if you want it, just do it.
That's what I said.
We say, I say that people can feel through the TV.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
if they're watching, because they can look in your eyes and they can know if you're if you're full of it. And
Right.
and so the thing is, it's very important.
And I say it all the time, we are the elite in the state. A lot of people might not agree with me, but she said it herself in what she was talking about earlier. She's her biggest critic. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're not looking for you to be perfect. We're looking for you to want to be better. We're looking for you to want to continue learning. I, to this day, am still learning. I don't know everything. I don't know. I'm comfortable with things. However, I'm still wanting to learn more and more to be better for the public. So that's exactly what we're looking for.
I thought he was going to say his hair was perfect. You know what I'm saying?
It almost was.
And then he always looks perfect. You know what I'm
I
saying?
told you, Neil, it's just a Lego piece.
Yeah,
I just put
that's
it
what
on
I'm
every
saying.
day.
That's why he's a recruit for Nevada State Police. 'Cause
I thought he was going to say, listen,
Absolutely.
I always look perfect.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But on that, if you want to be one of Nevada's finest,
Yeah.
and that's what I call everybody.
Yeah,
If you
100%.
want to be one of Nevada's finest, go to nevadastatepolice.com. And, we have active positions in Nevada Highway Patrol, parole and probation. And if you always wanted to be in law enforcement but didn't want to carry a gun, but just want to be a part of the team, we have administrative jobs. We have NHP dispatch. we have a whole array of different divisions too. So right now, I don't know if they're hiring or not, but like State Fire Marshal, we have Division of Investigation, and we have the Governor's Dignitary Protection Detail too. So I mean, there's a lot of opportunities out there for people. And if you just go to our website, nevadastatepolice.com, and you want some of those questions answered, you can always contact Louis. He's always willing to help you out there. And we'd be excited to have you. And what we've always said in the show before, too, let's say that you're thinking about being a Nevada Highway Patrol trooper. You can contact Louis or myself, and we can make arrangements to have you go on a ride-along to see if this is really the job for you, if you really like something like this. And we can also do it for some of the civilian jobs, such as dispatch. You can sit next to a dispatcher for a few hours and kind of see all the jobs, the functions that they do on a daily basis. So it kind of gives you a set in your mind. Not a lot of jobs do that, but Nevada State Police make sure that we want to get the right people to do the right job. So
Whitney, right? She was on episode, like 160, 165, you know what I mean? But certainly 30 or 35 episodes before the 200, right? And then she was doing the dispatching, right? And now she's, I forget her exact title, but she's supervising, she has people underneath her, and then she's doing the dispatch, you know what I mean? And so like, there's so much room for advancement in every single aspect that we need people to know that.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's see what else we got next. Yes, so my assistant was driving to California on Memorial Day weekend. Right, Johnny?
Not me.
Not you, right. But oh, yeah. Joe. And I said, and he was leaving because he left on Friday at 2 o'clock or so, 12 o'clock, and he had to go home, and then he was leaving. He was going to California, and I said, "Listen, I'm just telling you that they're not messing around." And so they have 100% zero tolerance. That when you go over the speed limit, and I said it wouldn't surprise me if they have planes in the air, right? Like. They will do these things because they are taking this so seriously. And they do it every single day, but specifically on times where it's during the 100 deadliest days and all these type of things. But there's no messing around. And so Trooper Hagstrom wanted to get his car up there.
During this Memorial Day weekend, we started off with joining forces with California Highway Patrol. Like we do every year. And we're going to have another event just to let the public know around July 4th. So this will be another thing that we're going to do. This started on Friday, May 23rd, and went through Monday the 26th and ended on midnight. We worked from Barstow, California, CHP on the state line on that side. And then we had from Primm all the way to Las Vegas was our troopers working. So we were hitting the state line very hard out there. And you can tell by the numbers, it wasn't as much. This is 3 days. This was just our troopers, Nevada Highway Patrol. We don't have the CHP stats. We just kept our own on that. But you can see that people really got alerted because we did put that out to all the news just to let them know that, hey, we're going to be hitting this area. And the reason for this is we put it out as a zero tolerance. We can't have people driving reckless, shoulder runners, everything. There was no tolerance. Any moving traffic violation, we were going to enforce. So it was good to get out to the media and the public. And I can honestly say during this weekend towards California and on the California side, we had no major serious vehicle crashes or fatalities for the weekend. And that was one of our biggest goals. Our troopers in the valley always just rock it. With the amount of guys that we have out there, they had 800, this is just in 3 days, 832 citations. They did 101 crashes. Of course, I hate to say it, we're like the crash capital of the world, I think. I mean, it's just crazy because I don't think the public understands that every year in the Las Vegas Valley, we have 46,000 crashes. NHP handles about 17,000 of those. And then we have Metro Henderson and the other, North Las Vegas handling the other crashes, but 46,000 a year. And that's probably why you see an attorney personal injury attorney sign every other exit. You know what I mean? 'Cause, I mean, I hate to say that, but it's true. I mean, we have that many crashes, a lot of them injuries. So we had 101 crashes in those 3 days, but the big one was we pulled off 32 DUI arrests. I mean, that's saving more than 32 people, but families, friends, you know, in case there was a serious crash or it becomes a deadly crash, right? They got 32 DUIs, and then we had 6 other arrests, whether they're warrants, reckless driving, or other moving violations that we brought in. We wanted to include Reno because that's our northern part of Nevada, and they got 217 traffic stops, 164 violations. They got 2 DUI arrests and 4 other arrests. So it was pretty eventful for the Memorial Day weekend. But what I can tell the public is it's a little bit slower on the holidays. A lot of people think, you know, we have a lot more crashes and fatals and DUIs on the holidays, which is not really true. It's actually kind of slower. And I don't know if it's because people leave early and they travel and they're traveling back and forth, and a lot of people are staying home, you know, just visiting families, and they're probably doing the right thing, which a lot of people, if you have a designated driver or something, use them. You know what I mean? If you plan on, and me and Louis always talked about this, is plan ahead. You know what I mean? There's no excuses to be driving impaired, you know, because of the Uber, Lyft, taxis, buses, everything. You have everything available to you. So I can honestly say it was a good weekend. I'm glad that our troopers got that many DUIs off the roadways. And the main thing is we didn't have anybody get killed, you know, a fatality.
No,
and that was our big thing that we wanted. And the zero tolerance, when we put that out, we mean zero tolerance. So
You've been to jail?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I was able to work Monday for like the Prim area.
Oh,
so.
really?
did you like it?
Oh, I did.
Oh,
Okay.
you were down there with Trooper Thayer and all them?
Yes, I was. So I was riding along with Trooper Clark, and we were able to get a few speeders and
Really?
tell them to slow down just for the holiday weekend and ensure the public was safe.
So it's very exhilarating when you're behind one of these people and they're just blowing down the front freeway and they have no care at all, right?
Yes.
There.
Did you have somebody pass you? while you were in
Oh,
the car?
so many.
See, and they're
So
a Mark
many.
Cruiser.
So what do you drive the Mark? You have the light bar? I didn't see it on
And
the
they
way
still
in.
pass you.
Okay.
She's in a Mark Cruiser.
So they don't care.
Correct.
Right. And
It's like they're completely oblivious. They're not paying attention
don't
to
pay
their
attention.
their surroundings. So, yeah.
I say they don't care.
Which is
You know what I'm
probably
saying?
true.
Maybe I can say that. You
Yeah.
have to say that. But at the end of the day, they are distracted, and they are not paying attention to the roadway for whatever the reason, right? And so if they can't see a car or an SUV that has big lights on there that says Nevada State Police, like this big, that says State Trooper on the back, right?
Yeah.
They're not paying attention.
Yeah, it's concerning.
And so reckless driving and these type of things are very, very dangerous. Have you come across a person that's been DUI since you've been with the field training officer yet?
Not yet, and I think a lot of that has to do with I'm on the day shift versus when I do go to graveyard. I think those numbers are definitely going to go up.
Right. So is there things that bring you fear when it comes to your job and stuff like that? Like, are you like, you know, like, is there something that like you don't like that you're like you want to work on better, or like what do you think that stuff is?
Naturally, I just want to continue to work on the way I give out citations, and then I wouldn't say that there's fear. There's eagerness to start handling more and then come across DUIs, go to jail, and learn that process a little bit better. But fear, no. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't know how I'm going to feel when I'm on the highway and cars are flying past me at 70, 80 miles per hour. Luckily, I feel comfortable.
Okay.
Maybe
good.
that's until I have probably like a a scary incident.
Right.
Neil, she's a Marine.
No,
That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say.
This
She's
is
a
what I'm
Marine.
saying.
Yeah.
But like, you know, at the end of the day, we have to have that, and so that's why, you know, it's not for everybody.
Correct.
You know, and so, you know, maybe somebody can handle somebody yelling at them, you know, with the hat on and the thing, which I can't wait to see this video. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, like, maybe people can handle that, but, you know, there's different thoughts of, like, you know, I can't really do this, or, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know, I would probably have fear of, like, going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to know that, like, you're sort of like locked in somewhere with like doors behind you and you can't like escape. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying. And so like, I bite my fingernails. Like I tell people, like, if I had to put on handcuffs for 10 minutes, like I'd be freaking out. I'd be rubbing my fingers, like, you know, I mean, but it's really important. And to be part of the Nevada State Police is one thing. But to be a Nevada Highway Patrol officer, man or woman, and we always talk about, and that's one of the things that we talked about with Corporal Wellman, which we always talk about on here, which is the women. You know, we need people to know that a woman can do everything that a man can do, and that the Nevada State Police is looking for women that want to become troopers. And so it's really important. And so that's why, you know, you coming on and sort of saying what you're saying, again, the unscripted part of the show, right, is really important, because we want people to know that it's not easy.
Correct.
But and so if you're going to have these type of things, you might not be able to pass the academy. Right? Like, what do you say? The first day they know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like, they know who wants to be there.
Correct.
About the academy, when is the next date? When can people apply? Let's go through all that.
So currently, we just actually had an academy start this past Tuesday. That academy, obviously, you're not going to get into if you apply now. However, our next Southern Academy will be starting down here in Vegas sometime mid-December. We don't have an exact date set just now. The next Northern Academy will be starting sometime mid-October, and that's in Carson City.
And so the December Academy, if they contact you in the next month,
they could probably apply all the way maybe to the end of August, maybe the beginning of September, and we would more than likely be able to get you into the December Academy.
So now is the time, if you have a family, and
Correct.
the family is very important, right? We've all learned that when it comes to doing your job to the best that you can, because it's not easy, right? That, you know, now is the time to start talking about that with the family, to start figuring out if this is something that you want to do. Right. And then they can contact you.
Right.
Because they have to do the physical test, right?
Right.
And some people can't do it.
Right.
And so if they can't do it, you're willing to work with them.
Yep.
And sort of help them through the process so that they can complete it, because that's what you want them to do.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, and prior to them actually coming to attempt the physical and the written testing, I send out an email and I'll send them the standards that we're looking for that they need to pass for each event. So then that way they have a better understanding of what they need to work towards if they do have to work on themselves. But also it gives them a kind of peace of mind, so then that way when they come out to the physical, it's not a shock to them, like, oh, I didn't know I had to do all of this. I didn't know I had to do push-ups. I didn't know I had to do sit-ups. They have a better understanding of what's expected on that day when they come out to test for us. And then for the written test, I actually send out a link that provides a study material as well as a practice test that they're able to purchase. So then that way they're ready for the written test as well. I mean, the state essentially gives you everything that you need to do the job prior to even being hired. We're giving you all the standards that you need to work on to be prepared for. We give you the study guides for all the written tests that you're going to be taking to get into the process. I mean, you have me that if you need help with anything at all application-wise, if you need help throughout the entire hiring process, I will help you as best as I can. So we will give you everything that you need to come and join the Highway Patrol or Parole and Probation.
And your neighbor, I always talk about, right? That his neighbor which were named remain nameless and ageless, but came to Trooper Hagstrom and said, listen, this is something that I might be interested in. What is the age limit to get in?
And there's no age limit. And let me
there's
tell you a story
right.
about that,
Yeah.
Neil, if I can. When I went to the academy over 20 plus years ago, I had a person that always wanted to be a state trooper, but he was a professor. I won't name his name, but he probably knows watching this show or something. He was the head of the language department for USC. He's probably making $250,000, $300,000. We ain't gonna lie about that. He's making great money, but him and his wife moved to Vegas, and he always wanted to be a state trooper. And when he went to through my academy class, he was 64 years old, but he was fit. I mean, he could do all the push-ups, sit-ups, everything that was required from him. He stayed with the Highway Patrol for at least 3 or 4 years. And then he switched over to Capitol Police, which you can do, and then he ended up doing some guarding some buildings or whatever. But I think he almost stayed for almost a good decade, and he really enjoyed it. So he was over his 70s before he left. It just shows you if you're able to do the job, pass all the tests and everything. We don't have an age limit, So, and that's one of the good things about it. Where the federal government, 36, I think, or something like that, you can't take a federal job, law enforcement.
Yeah,
I just had a gentleman actually call me last week and say that he had his career, he had his family, and now he wanted to kind of work on himself and do something that he had always wanted to do. And he goes, but I'm 54 years old, and I think I'm too old. I said, you're never too old. As long as you're able to do the physical requirements and pass all of our tests, you are more than welcome to join. He goes, oh, I have that in the bag, no worries. So as long as you're able to do what we're asking you to do, there's no max age limit.
Yeah, and I like what you said before, which is, it's not that they're trying to trick you with the questions.
No.
You know what I mean? And they're not trying to make it more difficult. They just want to make sure that you are going to be up to the standards that they want.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, you are taking not only your life, but a person's life in your hands that you could, mess somebody's life up if you make the wrong decision.
Right.
And so you have to be 100% perfect every single time.
Right. We're not going to lower our standards.
No.
Some of these other departments have in the past, and it created problems for those departments. Correct. We have certain high standards that we're always going to adhere to. But one of the things is we do get a lot of retirees. They've done 20, 25 years in a career, and they're like, hey, I always wanted to be a cop. I always, wanted to do this. And 54, that's no problem. If they're still fit and they're able to pass the written and the physical and all that and do the academy, we're more than happy to take somebody as a retiree. Like I said, we had a lot of people from the military that did 25 plus years. They got full, and some of them are only in their 40s, you know what I mean, because they went in right out of high school or whatever, and they're looking for that second career. And what's great is they're getting the military payment because they retired, right? And if they did another 20 years plus, they're going to have a second retirement.
Right.
And then when you get to that Social Security age, they'll be able to draw Social Security too, because with the other jobs they had. So now you have 3 paychecks coming in, which is great if you look at what you want to do with your life.
Right, and that's why I think it's tremendous. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's great. Like you did the thing with what you did. You did your military, and then you had your family, and now you're able to do this second part of your career.
Yes.
And so it's very cool. All right, let's see what else we got.
Oh,
all right. So
Sean's
this is Sean's safety tips. Remember I said I embarrassed them? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Well, now, so this is a thing that Trooper Hagstrom is very passionate about each and every week, so that he can show off and tell people that this is one of the things that we do or do not want to do.
Absolutely. And what I wanted to do this series is because of Memorial Day weekend. We have heavy congested traffic. We've seen it coming in and out of California. We get those shoulder runners. People think they can just pass everybody on the shoulders. And let me tell the public that, shoulders are for emergency vehicles only, or if somebody has an emergency with their own vehicles and have to pull over, like the car's breaking down or they get a flat tire. Those shoulders are used for a purpose. And likewise, not only troopers getting to somewhere or police getting somewhere on these shoulders, what about the ambulance? Somebody has a heart attack or they need to get to and from. We have to always have these shoulders clear. I wanted to bring this up because these are actual pictures of Primm when it gets busy. These are all shoulder runners right here. Here's a state trooper. He's in behind the traffic like everybody else, right? But guess what? Somebody decides to run down the shoulder, and guess what? What's going to happen? He's getting a ticket, right? So there's not one specific law I want to say for NRS, but there are several of them. This is one of them, 484B207, and it's telling you should not drive again on the right side and the highway until it's clear. That's when you're overtaken on the left, but it also says that you aren't supposed to be going off to the right on the shoulder. And that also pertains to driving on the left of the shoulder, trying to pass everybody. So we have a lot of problems with shoulder runners here, because people get late. They don't want to take the time. They're not mindful to others, and they can create problems. And this could cause a major crash or major incident. Some of these people, we talked about people not paying attention and, I'm having car problems. They would just pull out. They don't look at their mirror. And now you got a shoulder runner, and guess what? Now you have a serious injury crash or just a regular property damage crash, depending on how fast they're going. A lot of these shoulder runners that take off, they're flying almost highway speeds, which is very dangerous. So I wanted to bring this up. It is illegal here in the state of Nevada and probably the other 49 states to drive on the shoulders, left or right, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I honestly could probably say that because I don't know what state would allow people just to pass on the shoulders. Right. The only way that you'd be able to use a shoulder is if you were diverted to a shoulder, because of a crash,
of course,
or other incidents where for traffic or whatever. It's built into the laws. Like I said, there's several NRSs that state that, that they can use the shoulders if it's designed by, signals. Right. If there's, they're having construction, or a trooper has you go off the shoulder because of a crash or something, but that's the only time to use it because these shoulders are always for emergency situations only, and it's not for you because you're running late just to pass everybody. So it is illegal passing, driving on shoulder. If you do get pulled over, you could get a reckless ticket. Most of the time they'll probably just write you for driving on the shoulder, but you're looking at several $100s for a fine. So you want to take the chances. That's what happens if you do get caught.
I'm looking at you and I'm looking at this picture and I just can't stop laughing. I mean, like, I didn't realize that this was like a real picture.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is like
honest,
another lane of travel here.
I had to steal it off one of the videos from one of the news, but they went on a ride-along with us, and just to show the problems during holiday weekends and how people drive, and the camera crews on there. That's why I had a state trooper, and they're actual videoing. And they're like, here's a shoulder runner, and they're tucked in. Mark Cruiser, and they just pull right over, get them stopped. So, but we have it every holiday. We get congested traffic, but like I always tell everybody, Neil, and this is our biggest thing on the show, and I've always told people all the time, is plan ahead. You know what I mean? If this happens, leave early or leave a day early. You know what I mean? Right. Make sure, or if you get stuck in the traffic, make sure you're ready for it. Like I always say, why be exceeding the speed limit when you're creating stress for yourself and somebody else and putting other lives in danger for what? This is the time that you can kind of relax, think in your head, before you go into work, if you leave early, and it just gives you time of not rushing. I don't like to be rushed if we can help it. So that's a big thing about planning ahead, and I had to put this up because we have Memorial Day weekend, right? And I just want to show that, we have a lot of impatient people out there, and they think that they can just bypass everybody, and that creates a lot of problems. We've had, in the past, 20 years ago, we'd have people that, we have a major crash, and people start, I had another one, but I don't think we put it up there. They start driving in the desert.
I was going to say, they start driving in the desert.
I had a picture in there, and we didn't put it in, but they get stuck out in the desert. You got to call a tow, and that's going to be like $1,000 to get them out. And they're going along the fence lines and everything. But we've also had it where it gets congested because of a crash, major crash, where we have to helo somebody out. And we'd have to send, I was like a Vegas troop, and I had to run down there, assist Primm, because we'd have people getting upset and fighting on the interstate. We have people getting out of their cars fighting. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, just because the traffic's backed up, but it happens. It happens. But
I shouldn't laugh.
That's one thing that I got to say is, it is illegal, everyone. Don't be driving on the shoulder. This is one of the Sean's safety tips. You know, I got one every week, a different one. You know what I mean? This is something that we need to know
Sean's safety tip for shoulder runners.
And not only that, but there might be debris in that shoulder that you're running, and now your vehicle's disabled, and you put yourself in that position.
And you never know here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, tires
They
running.
no
get
idea.
mattresses
Yeah.
and
Bed
ladders.
frames.
Right.
Yeah. So
who knows what's happening?
yeah, it's the shoulders are not always maintained either. There might be potholes.
Right.
They might not be a shoulder, or it might be a shoulder, and then all of a sudden it cuts into no shoulder. So it's
And then people probably pissed. They won't let you in.
Yeah.
So good
Yeah.
luck.
Right,
to you.
right. That's right.
Yeah. You're up past there, but you might be there for next
Yeah,
round.
good
And
luck
what
getting
time
back
did you
in.
what time did you really save?
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
I mean,
you're done.
So yeah.
Can you answer me a question? What
Yes.
is this in blue?
The NRS number?
Right. That's called a law, right?
Yes.
Right. And so you abide by the law. You said it before
Yes.
that you take it very seriously. That you do the law so that you can when you're doing it, you're not
A
abiding
hypocrite.
by the law, right? So the law is the law.
Yes.
Right. And so when it comes to a person that is doing something in an illegal fashion, you are a sworn officer. So when you're pushed to that nth degree, the law is the law. And so maybe you haven't done it yet because of what you're new, right? But you're going to be forced into a situation that you're going to have to make a determination and say, because of this, because of this, because of this, I might have to call Trooper Schlater or Sergeant Donaldson, but at the end of the day, this particular person is going to be arrested for driving under the influence or driving impaired or reckless driving or things like that, because not only that's what you went to the academy for, but that's the law.
Yes.
And so people have to know that your symbolism of your badge is very important, not only for yourself, but that you have to follow the law, because that's what you do as a sworn officer, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I take it very seriously. It's just one of those things where you don't want people driving impaired. You have to make the road safe for others. And I have a family of my own. So the same way that I want to protect the public, I want to protect my family. I abide by the same laws, and I think it's important to not only just set the example, like be the example, and enforce it as well. Because that's the nature of our job, is to enforce the law.
And so when you leave your house, you drive your personal car
Yes.
to go to NHP. And is it weird, like, going from there into your NHP card, or is it like okay, like a few more months and then I'm going to be able to sign on for my house?
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Tell us about that. Like when you drive, like when you, without getting into specifics of where you live and stuff like that, right?
Correct.
But when you leave your house and then you are in your personal car, where a lot of the other troopers and stuff sign on from their house, it's not out of ego or anything like this. It's a matter of, now you're seeing something that you could essentially do something about, but now you can't.
Correct. I think the moments that I see it the most is when I'm going home versus the morning,
Okay.
just because of the shift I'm on. So in that evening time when I'm going home, I do see people failing to maintain their lane. I do see people that are distracted drivers and potential DUIs, and it's one of those where it irks me, because if I was in that marked unit, I would be able to pull them over. I would be able to just uphold my duty as far as like enforcing the law and ensuring that they're good to drive, or giving them those citations for not driving properly. I do look forward to it, but I do need to take the steps of completing all of my FTO and ensuring that I'm well equipped to do the job on my own, and that my fellow troopers feel comfortable with the way I perform.
No ego.
no, and see
Like,
that's
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, you
absolutely.
can see it,
Yeah.
right?
And that's one of the, I was going to bring it up. She probably doesn't know it, but by her recognizing traffic violations as she's going home, that's her training that's just kind of kicking on, and it's continuous. Because even with us, I mean, I do it all the time when I'm in my personal car where I'm going home, or even on the weekend. I'm like, oh, there's a speeder, and I go to reach. I'm like, oh, I'm in my personal car.
My wife gets pissed at me.
I can't do anything about it right now. Like, turn the cop mode off. Like, I'm at home. Like, I can't do anything about it right now. But however, that's training, right? We're always looking for something because I'm doing the speed limit. Why is this person now blowing by me at 90 miles an hour? That's not like I am doing the speed limit. So it's kind of funny to see or hear from a brand new person that's just hitting the road right now that's doing that, even though we do it all the time, even on our off time. We're like, oh, I'm in my personal car. I can't do anything. Yeah. So yeah, no egos. And like I said earlier, we're all still learning. It's not anything that like I know everything and I know the most, and I know even Trooper Schlater. Trooper Schlater is constantly learning about DUI laws and drug enforcement and everything that has to do with DUI. He is constantly learning. However, he is an expert in the field. He is one of our more qualified people to teach about DUIs and drugs and all of that. So those are the people that we look forward to call when we have those questions. But it's a constant, ever learning situation where we're going home and we're trying to see what we can see if we were on duty, what we could stop. So yeah, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, you know, without getting into specifics,
Sure.
you know, for as long as you've been doing the law enforcement, though, you know, this is exactly what he talks about. You know, I don't look at things in the same capacity that you do because of your training. You know, you've been doing this for time, so you have training, you have different things that you've done. And so, like, yeah, I mean, you're with your wife, you're driving down the road, and you see this, you know, this guy go, you know what I mean? Listen, I was in my car yesterday, I'm driving home, right? You know, down the regular road, you know, not even on the freeway, and the lane splitter, right, you know, comes past you at 100 miles an hour to get to the red light. But it's so distracting because it makes you just want to go, what happened here? And so what happens to this guy? You know
and
what I
that
mean?
could easily happen. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so it's the same type of thing when it comes to the shoulder runners, right? Like, you know what I mean? These people are there, and all of a sudden, you know, you bend down to, you know, get a bottle of water because you dropped it and the car went sort of off the thing, and all of a sudden this person's going down and ends up, anyway.
Well, and not only that, with depending on the speed and taking that shoulder, you can get reckless, like I said too. And just the regular driving on the shoulder is 4 points off your license. But let's go back into that reckless again. You know, because usually you have to have another thing, whether you're falling too close or you're speeding.
Reckless is 8, right?
No. Yeah. Absolutely.
So you could get 12 if you got...
You get 12 on your license.
But you could get reckless and driving on the shoulder and get 12?
No, you can... you get 12 on your license only, right?
Yeah.
But you lose 8 if you get convicted of reckless. It's $1,240 fine, and you lose that 8 points if you get convicted of that.
And then you could get 4 points for driving on the shoulder on top of that?
Well, I don't know if they'd actually do that. I mean, if they did...
I'd love to see somebody do that.
Right.
And then they take these licenses away from
I don't think the judge would probably do that, but I can't speak for the judge. But I mean, if they really wanted to do something like that, they could actually do it, because they could show a pattern. Let's say that they've had numerous traffic citations in the past,
100%.
right? And they've been losing these points because every citation, and on top of it, you got to think about insurance too. Insurance companies get notified on this. You want to be paying higher insurance, all this. But yes, if a judge sees that you're a habitual traffic offender, and let's say you had a reckless, because I've had this on a motorcycle that I caught doing over 100 and some, and I wrote him a reckless, and he went in, but he ended up losing his license because he's a habitual offender. Not only for just reckless drive, but for different other offenses. And it just adds up through time. They end up losing their license. It gets suspended. Now you have to go through a whole process of trying to get your license back. Very expensive. There's some wait times. You got to pay all these fines. It's just a headache. And if you have to work every day and that's your transportation, you know, your neighbor's not going to take you every day, or you know, or you inconvenience your wife, or if you're married, or friends, or like that. So you got to be very conscious if you're going to start driving this way. You got to see it. There's always consequences for everything you do in life.
The show that I watch on the week, I watch this great show on the weekend where they show the police officers, you know what I mean, and they drive around and stuff. And so anyway, this weekend when I was watching, the person was convicted of DUI, right? And then they caught him again.
Yep.
Right? Like
Oh, it happens quite a
3
bit.
months later,
Absolutely.
right? And so the guy, he says, sir, so he goes, well, what's going to happen to me? And they go, well, let's see. Since you were just convicted, and now he caught you again, and he goes, I don't want to do the breathalyzer and all this. And he goes, no problem, sir. You're just going to lose your license for 18 more months. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
and there's a lot of truth to that, Neil. I arrested a professional athlete. I won't name what kind of sport or whatever. But while I got him for DUI, but he had 3 other prior DUI charges still pending. He went to one, and then he had 3 more that he caught. He was originally from Florida, came to Vegas. He was doing a professional sport, and now he had like 4 DUIs pending. There's no way that he's going to end up keeping his license and have all these issues. And then you got to think, when I got him, he was all over the roadway. He's got a problem. You know what I mean? And any judge, they're not going to allow him to, with that many DUIs, and it's not even been 3 months or whatever that he was in the state. So that becomes a problem,
Adding on to habitual, if the trooper is able to determine that you are a habitual offender, because we're able to see previous citations that we've issued you.
Okay.
So if we stop you for speeding, let's say you're doing 75, and we see that you've gotten 5 other citations within the past month, you are now a habitual offender, and we are able to arrest you for that. As minute as it might sound, we're going to book you in for 10 miles over the posted speed limit. And it's a little silly, right? Going to jail and be like, oh, what did you do? Oh, well, they got me speeding. But because I'm a habitual offender and I was cited 5 times in this past month, now it's an arrestable offense. So just because we're stopping you for speed doesn't mean that you can't go to jail, because if you've done it 5 other times in this past month, you have obviously not learned that speeding is not good.
And it's protection for the community. Because obviously those, when we write citations, we don't go out there and say, hey, I get to write somebody.
No.
We don't want to write citations. We want you to learn from your mistake from the first time. Like, hey, slow down. This might be an issue, or if you're creating another issue, a moving traffic violation. But obviously it's not getting through their head.
Right.
So now we have to use up our measures to kind of get it through your head. And if an arrest is what it takes in towing your car, that's what we'll do. And like you said, that habitual thing is set up so it protects the public.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
You have the license plate reader on your car?
Not yet.
Okay.
I have
Look,
an
she's
older
excited about
model.
I have an older one. Okay.
Yeah.
We learned about the license plate reader. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Listen, this is the most fantastic thing ever.
Absolutely.
Drive
I
down the
agree.
road, you find these people like nobody's business. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? These people have the paper license plates. They don't know what's going on. They draw pictures of them.
and stolen vehicles and
Yes.
everything else.
Yeah,
that-
listen, it's the greatest thing ever. All right, coffee with a cop.
This was on May 16th, and this was down at McDonald's in Laughlin, Nevada.
Laughlin.
And we had our troopers attend with, I think it was wildlife. It was wildlife and Metro Police.
yes.
And it was the first time they've ever held this in Laughlin.
Yes.
So they actually helped him out in McDonald's. This is one of our troopers right here. He's a commercial trooper.
Yes.
And he's out there handing coffee and taking money and everything. And I thought, hey, what a great photo to put up. You know what I mean? And but they had a good time. And what they're doing, some of these smaller communities like Laughlin, they want to do this once a month. So this coming June, they're gonna do it again. And this is really nice that all the law enforcement community down there gets together in one place. And if people have questions, they want to meet the officers that work in the areas or whatever. This is just a good place for the police and the community to come together and hash out things, find out things they never knew about, and it's just good for the community.
100%. So that's Lieutenant Grant Rogers.
Oh, you know?
Yes.
Okay.
He's fantastic, and we love the coffee with the cop. Okay, because here's the thing: any time that we can recognize what the extraordinary things that the law enforcement goes through psychologically that they have to see, that the general public doesn't have to see, bashing, the badness that people say because, you know, sometimes they're belligerent, sometimes they're intoxicated, you know, all these things that then after they're sober that they recognize, well, maybe I really shouldn't have said those things because I really don't mean them, and, you know, all this stuff. But that weighs on the trooper's mind. And so when the trooper goes home, they have to shut that off because they have a family. And so they have to say, okay, like, I dealt with this at work, but I'm home now. Like, you have a family, without getting into specifics, right? Like, you have a family, and so you're not going to sit with your children and start explaining to them how you, you know, had to go to jail because you pulled somebody over for 130 miles an hour, you know? And so these are things that you have to make the commitment when you want to become a state trooper, that there are things that you want to accomplish, and that by having these type of things and having the community love you, which is what we talk about all the time on Trooper Talk, the few people that are not nice, okay, there's always going to be, but that people love law enforcement, people love the troopers, people honor what it is that you do. Maybe sometimes they're not happy because you know, because of a reason, but, you know, it's not your fault, it's their fault that they did something that you need to have a negative interaction. And so one of the best parts about Trooper Talk is the fact that we bring people like yourself on so that you can describe the personal experiences so that people know that you're a real person and that you go through things, but this is what you want to do in your life.
Yeah, I would just say, like, there's still a lot I have to do and still a lot that I have to accomplish in order to, or even experience, so that I can kind of understand where they're coming from, because they're way more experienced. They have many more years than I have on the job. But the good that I've received so far is enforcing proper child restraints, because I am a mom. Just knowing that kids are secured properly and then citing those parents for not having car seats, or ensuring that the roads are safer for them, just humanizing the badge. And when a child is distraught because their parent is being arrested for committing a violation, a serious crime, I want to bring them some warmth and some comfort in knowing we're not the bad guys here. We're just simply enforcing the law, and we're here to take care of you. That's just where I'm coming from, and like I said, once I get to experience a little bit more, I'll be able to continue to humanize the badge and come from a really empathetic position while still getting the job done.
So when you go up to the car when you are performing your daily job, so seeing the children in there is very difficult.
I would say so. That's if it's like a difficult situation. If it's just a regular interaction, I just want to ensure that all of the that they're abiding by the laws in that sense, like child seats and all of that. But you also have to be able to separate it, right? There's only so much we can do. We can enforce the laws and get our job done, but you need to know that fine line. So sometimes you just got to put that hat on, put the badge on, and then just do the job.
Yeah, we know that there are certain troopers that have lost family members for DUI and stuff. That's why we have Sandy Haverly's handcuffs there. You know what I mean? And so they have a real passion for DUIs and things like this because of a personal experience. And so we highlighted on the 200th episode, we had all the mothers for Mother's Day. Remember, Trooper Wellman put up there? Because what people have to know is that part of the Nevada State Police family is that there are a lot of women there that are mothers. And so they have to balance the home life, just as a man would have to do, but in a different capacity. And so there's a lot of mothers that are members of Nevada State Police that want to do a great job for the community, that work, you know, extremely hard, and that are mothers. And so when it comes to families and stuff like this, they have to know that when they see these type of things, that it's very important that there's different passions that continue to drive to make you want to learn even more, right?
Yes, I'll call her Corporal Wellman because
Yeah,
that's
oh,
how
yeah.
I know her. I think she embodies just like what a wonderful like person. Like she's just a wonderful person overall. As a corporal, as a trooper, yeah, she's just absolutely incredible, and I really aspire to be like her, just because I like the way she just. Just her demeanor and the way she carries herself, she's very professional. But I think that's why we work so great alongside like other troopers, is because we each bring something else to the table. So when they might be ready to escalate a situation, we might be able to work with them to de-escalate a situation. We all just have different tactics and different ways that we would approach a situation. So it's just bringing different perspectives to the table. We might be mothers, but then we also have different backgrounds, like being veterans, or who knows, maybe like your ethnicity as well. I think a lot of factors play into it. And yeah, I feel really honored to be a part of NHP. And I just like hope to continue learning and growing along this training process.
Corporal Wellman, right?
Yes.
They're fantastic. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? I mean, listen, they all sat here, Corporal McClarty and Corporal Wellman. You know what I mean? And before they did that, and they put their heart and soul into doing the PIO, and then for McClarty, he was never the PIO, but we did the recruiting, and it was really cool because it was McClarty, Corporal McClarty, and Trooper Hagstrom and I, and we always used to make fun of when he wasn't here, how Trooper Hagstrom would be like, okay, let me talk about recruiting now, you know what I'm saying? And so, but it's important, and it's important to have the recruiter here, so that when people want to answer questions, when people have questions, because what is my family going to be like? Listen, I can't be there for, 5 days a week. I got to, there's something I have to do. What if I have to take the kid to the doctor? You know what I mean? I had a meeting the other day, which was supposed to be 2 hours, and the guy said, listen, I have to cut the Zoom meeting short an hour because I have to go with my wife to take the kid to the doctor, and this is the only appointment we could get for the next 2 weeks. And so what do you say? Right. Oh, listen, just let the kid, lay in the bed for the next week or something. You know what I mean? Like, no, you have, and so there's questions.
Right.
What if I don't pass for the first time? Can I do it again for a second time? What if I fail 4 times? Can I do it again? You know what I mean? Like I'm not that good on push-ups. Like, my one arm doesn't work so well. All these things. And so at the end of the day, whatever questions that somebody has, they need to know that there's somebody there who can answer them. Right. And if you don't know the answer, you have people around you all the way up to the top of the Nevada State Police that you can make a phone call. And I love the fact that, like the Lieutenant Colonel before he retired, right, that he would call everybody for their birthday.
Right.
Say, listen, I just wanted to let you know that, I'm very busy right now. I don't have a lot of time, but, by the way, here's your text. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Right? But, it's the important thing that puts a smile on your face that goes, look, I'm not number 684.
Yeah.
And that's something that the Nevada State Police does and honors.
Right.
And so to be in charge of the recruiting, right, people need to look at you as the leader, which they do, and then they look at you with the hair and the spiel and all this stuff, and the perfection, right? And you the same, and Trooper Hagstrom, he doesn't have the hair, but you know what I'm saying? But the thing is that in the same perfection way, again, there is no string that should be ever out. And so that's something that you talk about all the time.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, day one of the academy, we know if you have that in you. You might not come prepared or as prepared as you think as you want the corporals to be. However, the corporals will know if you are prepared to take that on and to be serious about this career, because it's not a just a Walmart greeter position. Which, no disrespect to them, however, it's a serious career that you're getting into. it not only affects your life, like you've been talking about, but it affects your family life. It affects everybody around you. You're going to lose some friends throughout the process that don't necessarily agree with the whole cop mentality, and you have to be okay with that. And that's a lot of the stuff that I do go over with the applicants that don't understand what comes with wearing a badge. Humanizing the badge is something that's extremely important. When you do a traffic stop, all that person sees is a cop with a badge and a gun, and they don't understand that that person also has a life outside of what they're currently doing. So it's extremely important to go over with somebody that doesn't have any idea of what they're about to endure, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Throughout the academy, it's probably the most stressful time of your life. One, because you're juggling your work life, but on top of that, again, you have to go home and juggle your family life while still kind of juggling work life because you have homework. You have to prepare for the next day. You're sore because you just did 150 push-ups throughout the entire week. So it's not easy. It's not an easy career. However, I'm here to kind of give you a little bit of insight as to what you can expect to when you come over and join us.
Yeah, and that's what's really important, and that's one of the things about the Nevada State Police.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to go over, which is also very important, okay? You can join at 18. You can start preparing, right? Like we learned last week or whatever, you know, they need people that want to install radios in the cars.
Sure,
you
right.
know what I mean? Like there are things that you can do for the state at 18 that you can apply.
Right.
That at 20 and a half you can then apply to become a state trooper or parole and probation, and you're on your way. And at 18, by the time you get to 21, you have 3 years towards your retirement already.
Right.
And that's something the Nevada State Police offers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's one of the bigger benefits that we have too. So you can do dispatching as well as 18, or at 18, I'm sorry. And you start learning the police codes. You start learning our radio traffic. You start learning the units that you're going to be working out there when you do come over to the sworn side. You're going to start to understand how we handle calls. So like when you're responding to a crash, what you're going to be expecting to call for, what you're expecting to shut down on the roadway. And it gives you a leg up for when you do make that jump over to the sworn side. And on top of that, your retirement has started. So instead of retiring at 60 or whatever, if you joined in your mid-20s or your 30s, now you're retiring at 48. After that, like Trooper Hackstrom was saying, you can have a whole nother career after that for another 20 years. So I mean, the state has everything to offer. And I keep saying it over and over again, but there's no reason to grow stagnant in your career with the state because you have so many options out there for you. I started my career at parole and probation. I got kind of tired of what I was doing. Not tired, but just burnt out a little bit of what I was doing on a day-to-day basis, so I jumped over to highway patrol, and now I'm with the training division. So it's a really good opportunity to continue growing, continue learning, and doing different things on a day-to-day basis. So the state has a ton to offer, regardless if you're 18 or 70, 74, like Trooper Hackstrom said. So it's a good opportunity.
And the state's not going out of business.
Oh, never.
Right.
Never.
So your pension is probably pretty good.
It's
And
pretty
if you work,
solid.
if you work for the state, that you know what I'm saying, that you know.
And one good thing about having our recruiter too, that's well balanced. I mean, parole and probation, highway patrol, he's in a perfect position right now because he's already done those two jobs, which are the mainstay for Nevada State Police. So he's able to talk about it, and that's why I was so glad that when they made Louis a recruiter, because I've always liked to have somebody from the parole and probation side. So he's able to touch on both ends and know exactly what's going on in each side.
Yeah, no,
which makes it really nice. You know what I mean?
And he's a good person to embarrass a little bit. You know? he always laughs and jokes.
You got like hair 401,
Right,
401
yeah,
out of place.
right.
You got to look good, right? So
it's-
I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
But he does look sharp. We got to say that. He
It's
does
the
look
best,
sharp.
you know what I'm saying?
And I got to put a shout out to Travis Perkins.
Yes.
That was our trooper out there. He's
Yes,
the one
Travis.
that sent me these photos. So I just wanted to say a shout out.
Travis,
Say
we love you.
thanks,
We appreciate you,
thanks,
and thank
absolutely.
you for hanging out at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hopefully he's not there all day, right?
Right.
So,
I would
that's
agree
right.
with you on that. You know what that means?
But
It's over.
okay.
Yeah, what do you think of that, huh?
I was like,
I
that's
scared you,
cool.
right? Here's what I'm going to say to you. I appreciate you coming on. Okay, it takes a lot of courage because you don't really know what you're getting into. But here's what I'm going to say to you. When Trooper Hagstrom came back as the critical fill, they said to him, okay, you know, you're going to be the PIO and you're going to do this. Oh, and by the way, you have to go on this talk show and hang out with Neil once a week. And so when he came on the first time, he was a completely different person. And now, after not only doing his position for so long, right, but coming on here and not only bringing every single week somebody that's different from a different division so we can tell people about the Nevada State Police and all that type of stuff, but he's found this real passion, which is really what people can see, and it's fantastic. And he brings this environment that is laughable and jokeable, but on a serious side, and so it's something that's very special to Trooper Talk, okay? And so you coming on really means a lot to us. And so I just want you to know that we appreciate you, we appreciate your family and what they had to sacrifice for you to be where you're at, but it's well worth it, and the family is fantastic. So I leave the floor open to you for your final thoughts.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope that I've been able to reach out to the community to just kind of spark that fire. If you have the desire, if you have the will, the drive, the dedication to apply for Nevada State Police, do it. You know, there's no harm in trying. I think you'll beat yourself up more if you don't try, and we need more female troops. So please,
Say for all the moms out there.
Moms, veterans. I mean, it's an array of people.
But you need women, right?
Yes, we need diversity in the field.
Men too, but I'm just saying, like, we need the women can do a fantastic thing for the Nevada State
Sometimes
Police.
they do it a lot better than we do. So yeah, we absolutely.
So please, make application today.
Thanks for coming. You know, I really mean it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, with what you come and what you bring every single week, it's really fantastic. We're able to talk about all the different factions, from the parole and probation to the recruiting. You know what I mean? And touch on all these things, and you know, and laugh and joke.
Yeah.
Because that's what people don't ever get a chance to see.
Right.
Because all they see is the serious side, and unfortunately, they never get to see the laughing and joking, because it's just usually on a small interaction.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, and a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but we have a lot of very funny people at the office that a lot of people don't get to see, because again, they're on that serious note.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we just try to instill excellence into all of our trainees and people that come out of the academy and whatnot, and it clearly shows. I mean, I say it every week, but we are the best in the state and potentially in the country because of the training that we go through, the people that we work for, our command staff, everything from top to bottom, regardless if you're at the parole and probation side or highway patrol side, all command staff is kind of a family feeling throughout whatever division you work for. So
you have to go in front of the media, you have to talk, you have to do these things besides doing all the other daily things that you do. And so, you know, you came back as a critical fill, and it's been fantastic.
Absolutely. And you know, it's all about the camaraderie, the family. It's a great agency to work for. I mean, no doubt, you've seen it from the very low end. I should say low end because we're all top, but all the way up to our command staff. Everybody
From
works
new
together
recruit all the way up.
Absolutely. And you've been to our ceremonies too.
Yeah,
where we give flowers to the wives of these troopers, because the commitment that they made with their spouses, that, you know, hey, I got called out 2 a.m. because something, you know, a lot of rules, you know, they get called out to, you know, because nobody's working at a certain time of hour or whatever. They're also in it, you know, for the commitment and everything. But no, it's I wouldn't change a thing. You know what I mean? We love this agency. We want to keep it going. We want to get great recruits and cadets like we have here. And few months you'll see her out and about, you know, doing the job, and I know she's really excited to get out there and get going. So.
maybe we'll bring her back in October.
Yeah, maybe like in a few months we'll ask. We'll bring her back and see how it goes.
I want to find out. Let me ask you
Absolutely.
one thing before you go.
Yeah.
Do you have the hat? Do you have the smoky hat?
Not yet. I have to earn it.
So you get that when you get your car?
When she
Yes.
becomes state trooper,
Yes.
a title state trooper. She's still in the
once-
training process.
Right. Once I pass FTO, I'll I'll earn the smoky.
So before we go, I just want to 2 seconds. I just want to hear about this. So you graduate the academy as a cadet, right?
As a sworn officer.
As a sworn officer, because you can carry your gun, you can carry all that out into the public, wear the badge and the whole thing, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and then you do because we've talked about this. Then you do the training, the FTO,
Field
right?
training.
Field training,
4 phases.
and so you can't get the hat until that time. So when you put the hat on and then you sign on as a state trooper. Oh, okay, that's cool. I want to get a video of that.
Get something to work towards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
And
that's what I'm saying.
And you got to
That's
think,
really- that's
this is
cool.
a title that's earned.
Right.
It is not given.
Right.
Right.
So there's a lot of satisfaction she can tell you from going through the academy up and being a former Marine. It was not easier for her. It was probably easier for her to do this job being a Marine before, because that's not easy to become a Marine either. But once you earn that title, you have that title the rest of your life. Just like U.S. Marine, you're a state trooper, and we just don't hand that out. We're not like, oh, you want to be a police officer and sign, a gun. And I'm not talking down to other agencies,
Right,
but
of
this
course.
is something that's earned. And in order to wear that smoky, you really had to earn that title to be called state trooper.
Right,
And that's
I
why
mean,
we
I
say
did-
Nevada's finest.
Right. I just
Absolutely.
never noticed because I didn't notice you have one,
Correct.
and I was thinking like, oh, that's okay.
Did you forget a uniform?
Right.
again?
That's you know what I'm saying? All right. Let's wave right here, and we're gonna say goodbye to everybody. Okay. See you later.
Bye, guys.